On today's Into Your Head podcast, episode 699, Jesus' Baker's Dozen, the future of self-service checkouts, unregulated brain surgery, worms versus a worm, and lots more. Hello.
Into your head, into your head, into your head, into your head, into your head.
We've a lot to get on with today. Items that need to be attended to, issues that need to be addressed, topics. Oh, topics. You've got lots and lots of topics. You've got topics coming out of this used. You don't want to know what this is a used of, but it's a used one of these anyway. It's a commonplace, commonly used household item, and this one I can tell you it's been used. You can use these twice, pretty much. You can use them twice as long as you don't mind after the first use having it sitting in front of you and you can see the used end and it's sitting there looking disgusting. I know this one seems to be completely used, although not fully, so that it's hard to tell with my poor eyesight that it's used, so maybe it's not used. There's a good chance that this is a not used one of these, so maybe I'll keep it or maybe I won't. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It's not like I'm sharing it with someone else, apart from you, the listener. There's a little pun for you. Is that a pun or is it something? That's something like that. So an oral pun. Ironically, given the ear-related nature of these. I've given it away now. They're ear-related items. They're things that you shove, cotton buds that you shove into your ear, supposedly to remove stuff. You push it into one ear, and the principle supposedly is that it pushes the blockage out through the other ear. Doesn't work for me. I find I have to drag the stuff out. I drag it out kicking and screaming and kicking, probably unnecessarily, but I'm not a frigging doctor. I haven't been you should have to have at the very least a first aid a course in first aid surgery before you're allowed to use these earwax remover buds. If you ask me, you wouldn't let someone do first aid on someone who's drowning without having done it first. If I went up to someone and saw someone drowning and saw someone rescue them and about to blow air into them, I'd say, first of all, what are your qualifications in this? And I expect the same sort of thing. If I'm going to shove something into my ear within inches of my brain, I'd expect someone to ask me. If I go into the pharmacy and buy these, I expect the pharmacist to say, what are your qualifications in the basics of basic near brain surgery, i.e. ear cleanage? Of course they don't. They're too busy asking why you need these headache tablets, and do you realise that these sleep aids may cause drowsiness? I don't know. You can go into the supermarket and take a pack of 500 things that you can poke into your brain a second's notice while drunk, and they won't even ask you any questions. They'll just scan them through. They'll even let you get them in the supermarket and go through the self-serve scan through. At least when you buy medicines, a thing comes up on the self-service checkout that says, this fella is buying medicines limited to the legally minimum amount allowed by law, but don't know, you can bring through as many ear plungers as you want. That's not surprising they don't sell plungers for ears. It'd be more effective. That's the next thing. We need to invent an ear plunger rather than an ear pusher stuff inner. No, we need a little, based on the toilet plunger, it'd be a simple plunger made of something other than rubber, perhaps something more friendly to the ear, more the classical music version of earwax removers. Gentle on the ear, easy on the mind, good for stress relief. I don't know enough about this stuff to comment, which leaves me wonder how I got 4 minutes and 5 seconds out of it. Anyway, hello and welcome to the show. 2 unqualified first aid brain surgeons walk into a bar. One of the underqualified first aid brain surgeons goes straight straight up to the bar counter and says, "Hello, I hear somebody is having an emergency in here. How may I be of assistance?" And the man behind the bar says, "Oh, that was quick. Thank Christ for that. Just over there, look. If you look just over there beside you, you'll see there's a fella collapsed on the ground. I'm surprised you didn't see him on the way in, quite frankly. You seem to be standing on his neck. You might want to stop that. Not that I'm an expert. Anyway, if you wouldn't mind having a look at him." And the underqualified brain surgeon has a look down at the fella on the ground and says, "Oh, there he is now. Sorry, didn't see you there. You probably can't hear me. Are you in a coma? You probably are, or maybe you're not. I need to have a closer look now. I'll get out my first aid brain surgery implement." I'm probably getting ahead of myself here with deciding to do brain surgery before I've even figured out what's wrong with you. Maybe there's nothing wrong with you at all. Maybe it's the rest of us that has something wrong with us and you're the norm. Maybe that's the case. Although if that's the case, then you're in the minority, which makes you the not norm. So there's something wrong with your QED, which was to be, not that anyone asked me to show it. It's not my job. I'm just here as the stopgap until the ambulance arrives. Has somebody called an ambulance, incidentally? Barman, have you called an ambulance? And the barman says, I've telephoned the emergency services and they recommended that I request an ambulance. And in fact, they took my request there right then and there on the spot. So I'm led to believe an ambulance is on the way, yes. And the fella says, that's great. It's a good job this isn't a real situation, or we'd probably all be sued, wouldn't we? No, this is just a drill. You're nothing but a drill. In fact, it's not even a real drill. It's just a cotton bud. I'm going to push it into this fella's ear now and see what happens. Here we go. Push. Should I twist it a bit? Should I go clockwise or anti-clockwise? Or should I oscillate? I'm not sure if you're familiar with the process of oscillating. Oscillation means you twist it clockwise, then counterclockwise, then bollocks. Then clockwise, then counterclockwise. I think you can start with either clockwise or anti-clockwise. Doesn't have to be one or the other, but you alternate between the two, and that's called oscillation. I believe there's many power drills built on that principle. Well, no, this is basically a hand drill. It's probably not supposed to be a drill, and probably not supposed to make holes where there's a hole there already. There's a hole in the side of his head. That's normal. That's called his ear hole. So basically I'm pushing in here. I'm basically taking a sample is what I'm doing. Going to see what comes out on the end of this earwax thing. If blood and guts come out, then that's normal. If something else comes out that doesn't look like blood and guts, then we'll send that off to a lab, or maybe dip it in some alcohol if we have some here handy in the bar area, and see if we can do some makeshift experimentation on it and see what happens. It's called improvisation. It's what you have to do. Christ, getting in a bit over my head here, to be perfectly honest. And the man behind the bar says, "Oh, it's okay. It's just a drill. It's not like your job's at stake here. Haven't even employed you yet. This is just your tryout day to see if you're allowed to work here. And frankly, the job you've applied for doesn't really involve much on-the-fly brain surgery. It's more wiping tables and cleaning the toilets and stuff like that. But the principle is that if you can handle something as stressful as this reasonably well, then you can handle anything, and it's good enough for me." And the man says, "Oh, that's great. I should probably try and stay calm now to try and impress you, should I?" And the barman says, "Oh, I'm not going to tell you what to do at all. I'm just going to watch how you react and see how it goes." And the uncertified, underqualified brain surgeon, or whatever I was calling him, says, fair enough. I think this fella's dead, but it's okay because he's just playing dead, if I understand the scenario correctly. And the man behind the bar says, well, actually, it's funny you should mention that. This is actually a corpse that I got in, especially for this this drill, because I didn't want to put any real live people to any harm, so I borrowed a corpse. This fellow donated himself to medical science, so this is medical science basically. Well, not really. believe, I suppose, in a way, but in another way, but in a third way completely, and in a fourth way, we're probably all going to be arrested now, and some fella will come along with a gun and a police helmet and say, off to prison, you must go, you must go, you must go. My fair lady, off to prison you must go. You must go, off to prison you must go. That's another one of those songs that my intellectually disabled brother learned during his first few years in school. And that great school, I remember a few weeks ago I did another one, didn't I do? I like the man who owns the shop. He gives me sweets and lollipops. Oh, thank you, God, for all the people. Well, he also did this one. He did, off to prison you must go, you must go. Off to prison you must go, my fair lady. I might have confused the My Fair Lady bit with another song of a similar tune, I don't know. But suffice to say, either way, a great night is had by all. I've always been a great believer in the dictum quod ete demonstrandum, which, as you're no doubt fully aware, means the early bird catches worms. The early bird catches worms, at least one worm it catches. There's a big difference, I can tell you, between catching a worm and catching worms. If I was to tell you, oh, I caught a worm, you'd be horrified. You'd say, Christ, why are you catching? Oh, you must be going fishing. Oh, now I get it. That's perfectly understandable. But if I said to you, oh, I caught worms, you'd say, oh, get away from me, stand back, I don't want worms, I've got cats, I don't want worms in my cats, no, get away from me. So a big difference. There's a big difference you can see between the use of plural, misplaced difference, I can tell you, because I could catch a worm and still have the disease worms. I could be on my first worm in a series of worms that I've been infected by and say, I caught a worm, and you'd be saying, oh, isn't that great, you're on your way to becoming a fisherman. You'll be talking like Jesus. That's what Jesus supposedly said when he went up to his disciples. He says, come join me and be a fisherman, a fisher of men. Do you get it? It's a little joke. We're going to go fishing for men to sign up for my new religion. And that's what he'd say. And then they'd go out presumably hunting for, no, I think they went fishing for 11 other men first, and then they formed the 12 apostles. There was 12 of them, plus Jesus. He wasn't one of them. He was just the Jesus. It's just like on The Apprentice. On each episode of The Apprentice, someone has to put themselves forward as team leader, and that's what Jesus did. He said, oh, I see there's already 12 apostles, and 13 is a bit of a baker's dozen. I know bakers like to do a baker's dozen just to be safe, or will look a bit silly if I'm claiming to be the Son of God, and yet having to make an extra one just in case one of the dozen goes bad. That won't inspire confidence in my state statue, says Jesus. Although now that you look back at it with the whole doubting Thomas thing, it turns out he could have done with a spare one then. A baker's dozen would have been useful under those circumstances. It just wouldn't have. People would have gone, oh, he can't be that great if he has to have a spare. Then, of course, 1,000 years later, someone invented the motor car and said, oh, you have to have a spare wheel in the back of your car. It's the law. A spare tyre, at least, to get you home. Nobody thought twice about it. I don't know. Jesus comes up with the spare disciple, and he has to say, no, I can't do this. This will look stupid. Well, no, he was left with egg on his face then, I can tell you. Or wherever you throw at people's... do you throw stuff at people's faces when they're on a cross? You probably do. It'd be probably a sort of thing they used to do back then. It certainly did it with the that thing where you used to put someone in the stocks and you throw eggs and things at them, and throw whatever you had, tomatoes or eggs or whatever hell else you had to throw at them. Maybe plasticine. Do you have plasticine abroad? You probably do. It's basically Play-Doh. It's Play-Doh. It's a bit like blue tack, except it's for playing with. It's you can probably choke to death. In fact, I got a Play-Doh like wax earplug stuck in my ear last week. I think it's all out now, incidentally, in case you're worried. So I can now go back to condoning this earplug, the world's finest earplugs, by them through my Amazon link at intoyourhead.com/earplugs. They're still the finest earplug in the world. I'm just incompetent at using them, and in my many years of use, I managed to get one stuck in my ear, which is what's supposed to do. They're supposed to be stuck in your ear. That's what they're designed for. They're supposed to plug your ear. That's not a design fault. Intoyourhead.com/earplugs. Intoyourhead.com/Jesus if you want to find out more about Jesus. Should I make that address go somewhere? I probably should. Where will I make it go? I'll make it go to a 404 error, and that will be the irony of it, won't it? For all you atheists out there, you'll say, oh, that proves it goes to a 404 error. Well, the joke's on you, because I'm not making it forward to anywhere. I haven't created that address, so you'll just go to an address that doesn't exist, and it won't be there. And I tell you, it won't have been a man-made error made by me. It'll be being made by fate, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. What's that supposed to mean? I don't know. Don't know where I'm going with this. I do know that normally now would be time for it. I don't know where I'm going with this, but it should by now be time for a piss. But strangely, I don't feel the urge to allow my kidneys to purge. Is it your kidney or your bladder? Maybe I mean my bladder. But that was a good poem I made up there. See if I can remember it now with a harmonica. Oh, at least it's time for a piss. No, I can't remember any of it. I just rewind and play it back, and to consider it to be accompanied by a harmonica. Even if I could remember it now, I can't fucking sing and play the harmonica at the same time. I'm not freaking Bob Dylan. Even Bob Dylan doesn't do that. He doesn't go, oh, look at me, I'm Bob Dylan. I can talk to my microphone. No, that sounds fucking ridiculous. He uses a multi-track recording studio. He records his harmonica, and then he records his voice and overdubs them, or else he designs his song so he can play both and not have them overlap. It's perfectly simple. There's no magic involved. There's no pulling a rabbit out of a hat. It's the very basics of music production. It's been going on since the invention of the phonograph over 100 years ago. Shouldn't be any mysteries involved in it by now. We should all understand the basics of this technology. Shouldn't be. There's no hocus pocus magic involved in any of this at all now. So get a fucking grip.
Remember, we value the opinions of you, the humble and ignorant listener. Email studio@intoyourhead.com.
Support the podcastual arts at no cost to you. Just click through the Amazon link at intoyourhead.com whenever you go shopping for anything, even if you use Amazon UK or Canada. We'll take your weird foreign money here. We're not proud. Just visit intoyourhead.com and click on the appropriate Amazon banner.
Do you need glasses? You probably do. I know you don't think you do, but can you see me from where you're sitting? You probably can't. That means you need glasses. And what better way to get them than through the Into Your Head website, delivered straight from the Into Your Head website to your door, worldwide shipping, and the show makes a generous commission at no extra cost to you. Just go to intoyourhead.com, down the left, scroll along the prescription glasses, goggles for you ad, and browse for your prescription eyewear, your contact lenses, your glasses, your weird bifocals for freaks, and all the rest of it. Buy your glasses online. Into Your Head makes a generous commission at no extra cost to you. You support the podcastual arts, and as a bonus, you get to be able to see. You get to be able to see past the end of your nose, so you can see more than just the dried snot that's on top of your nose. You can see stuff in front of you. Stuff like, for example, the following content.
IntoYourHead.com.
Two cats walk into a self-service supermarket checkout area. one of the cats goes straight up to the first available self-service checkout till and says, "Hello, can I have a pint of your finest Guinness, please?" And a message comes up on the screen flashing saying, "This person is trying to buy alcohol. This person is trying to buy alcohol. This person is trying to buy alcohol." And the member of staff appears down from the ceiling as if out of nowhere, but in reality she comes out of the ceiling and says, "Oh, this machine tells me that this person is trying to buy alcohol. I need to intervene manually in here and tap in a little pin code here. There you go. You can go ahead now and scan that." And the cat says, "Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Eastwood. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very, very much." And the staff member says, "This is a very musical episode, isn't it?" And the cat says, "It is indeed. It is indeed. It's very hot out today. I can tell you that for one thing. I don't know if that explains anything, but I do know it's very hot out today. I had to close the window because someone's frigging building something across the way and they're drilling. It's like brain surgery except without the frigging cotton ear. Why can't they do drilling with cotton earbuds? There's a question for you. If you can do brain surgery with a cotton earplug, but surely these building industry regulators, that's a very regulated industry. They have to do everything for safety and noise reduction and all sorts of things, but they're still allowed to use big metal hammers and drills. Make them use cotton things. They have to put cotton things around their ears anyway, so they're not getting the benefit of the noisy drill because they have big woolly things around their ears to protect them. So the only people who gets the benefit of the noise from the drill are the innocent passers-by and people like me who live across the way and have to listen to it. Well, that's no use to me. What purpose does it serve for me to hear a drill that the person who's operating it can't even hear? Maybe the fact that I've closed the window and can't hear it now and have big earphones on and I'm listening to myself through a microphone, that probably detracts from my point here a little. And also the fact that I'm supposed to be a fictional cat buying a pint of Guinness. How the fuck am I buying a pint of Guinness at a self-service checkout? I presume I meant a can of draft-style Guinness in a can. That's probably what I meant, is it? And the woman that says, "Probably is, yes, probably is. I'm not really trained to deal with questions like this. I'm just trained to enter my PIN at random intervals. My job's going to become gradually obsolete over the years now. You'll find over the years they'll simplify the job by making the PIN code shorter until it's just one digit, and then after a while I just have to wave my hand over the screen, and then eventually they'll just get rid of me completely. You'll have a self-verification alcohol scan. They'll say, "Are you over 18? And you'll say, "Yes, I am over 18. And they'll say, "You hereby certify that if you lie about this, we can come around later and beat the living crap out of you, and you sign away all your legal rights." Not that there's many legal rights that come with buying enough beer to poison you. You're a cat, incidentally. You're buying enough beer there in that one pint to probably poison you. You shouldn't be buying it at all, which leads me to wonder why I've just entered my PIN and allowed you, condoned you basically in buying this, but I was doing that on behalf of my employer. That's not my personal opinion. No, my personal opinion is that you should not be sold this beer at all, but I'm not here in a personal capacity. I'm not empowered to do stuff like that. If I was, I'd be expect to be on a lot higher wage than this, or at least to get tips. Can you tip someone who enters a PIN at your self-service checkout? I wonder. You probably can, but no one ever does. I can tell you that for a fact. And the cat says, "This is taking a lot longer than I thought it would. Can we go back to the old-fashioned full service checkout?" And the woman says, "No, not until they invent time machines. Maybe when they're busy perfecting these machines, then they'll work on the time machines then. But what use will those be to a supermarket? Tell me that and tell me no more." And the cat says, Christ, I'm going to leave. I'm going to go and do this somewhere else. And the woman says, you're going to do what somewhere else? Purchase this Guinness somewhere else? Well, you can't do that because it belongs here. If you take it out of here and go and buy it somewhere else, you're stealing and paying someone else for our goods. And the cat says, that's not exactly what I meant. I'm going to just leave this here. Or if you prefer, I'll put it back on the shelf where I got it, if that'll keep you happy. And I'll go to another shop and buy an identical product there. And the woman says, that's fine, no skin off my arse. And the cat says, indeed it's not. Indeed it's not. Not that taking some skin off that would do any harm in your case. And the woman says, what's that supposed to mean? And the man says, well, you appear to have a job where you walk around all day between the automated counters, between the ever-growing farm of automated checkouts. You're walking around all day now. You're no longer sitting behind the counter, so you don't need to have any skin off your arse. You don't need skin on your arse, rather. So it wouldn't matter if there was skin removed. We're getting a bit in too deep to this, I think, if you don't mind me saying so. And the woman says, indeed we are. Indeed we are. Please leave. And the cat leaves.
You've been listening to Neal tell you stories. About cats, probably. Neal talks a lot about cats. Send your topic suggestions to studio@intoyourhead.com.
Into your head.